Welcome to TERRA at Home with your host, Kris Moretti.
Good morning and welcome to TERRA at Home. We're well into October now, and it's the time of year that's becoming one of my favorite times of year. We're in fall and we're approaching Halloween. I'm going to show you this morning how to make a few simple switches to bring your fall entrance up to full Halloween standard. So when your little trick-or-treaters come to your door, you're ready for them and in full festive spirit. We're going to work top to bottom. I'm going to start off with our door. Naturally, before now, I've had a seasonal wreath as well as a doormat at the front door celebrating the fall season. But with a simple swap, I've taken off my wreath and put up a festive hat, which I think is awfully cute, and something a little bit different for the Halloween season. Next up, I've got my shepherd hooks that are in place for hanging baskets. They originally housed kale and mums and some trailing material for fall, but I've swapped those out with seasonal lanterns. This season at TERRA, we've got some great festive lanterns in for the Halloween season, featuring different characters, witches, and we've got a crow over on this side. All of those will actually, once lit, throw those characters onto the house. So it adds an element of light and something really different for the house. Next up, we're surrounded in flags, of course, for the Halloween season too. These are a great option for large-scale properties. They're great for lining the driveway and bring elements of light. They're slightly reflective, so they definitely catch attention from the road. Next up, scarecrows. I'm sorry, Mr. Scarecrow, but it's time for you to go. I'm going to replace my scarecrows with some festive garden stakes. See you later. And we've got lots of fun metal themed garden stakes in here. So I'm going to pop my witch into place. There we go. And we've got a jack-o'-lantern too, so I'll stick him over on this side. Perfect. We've also accented the entire area with live products. Straw bales and lots of pumpkins definitely add some flair, and of course, as we approach Halloween itself, it'll be fun to carve some of these with the family and light them up for the big night. Next up, and perhaps my favorite element, are planters. Over here, I've got my regular festive fall planter, and I'm going to take it from being fall themed to being Halloween themed, and I'll show you exactly how we're going to do that. So over here, we've got a relatively traditional fall planter. We've got all of our great elements of color that we've taken from top to bottom with elements of dried corn stalks. We've got our grasses, fall mums in here, as well as cabbage in the bottom, and of course a little bit of tropical flair for some extra color. One note about this fall planter actually is I've created my own ornamental stakes in here. Small pumpkins make a great addition to a fall planter or a Halloween planter. So this is a trick you can actually use whether you're staying with fall themed or transitioning to Halloween. I've just taken small pumpkins. Gourds are also a great alternative for that too. And I've taken a sharpened pick, insert it into the bottom of the pumpkin. With gourds or something that's a little bit harder, you may want to use a drill for the hole first, but it's an easy solution to create your own small ornamental features into the planter. So just a little tip for fall. Now as we transition into Halloween, we're changing things up completely. So rather than orange or ornamental sticks over here, I'm swapping to black. All of the other elements in the planter are exactly the same. And then I'm going to use some of my pieces of decor that have actually come from inside the house to put them outside onto the front porch for the planter. Now, this is a case where you can really go wild and have some fun because anything goes. There are truly no rules for Halloween. I'm going to create a jack-o'-lantern theme planter by using that same theme throughout my accents. First off, a little bit of spooky fun, which adds a bit of noise as well. I've got sticks here that have teeny jack-o'-lantern bells on them, and those are going to add some height and definitely some interest, especially if we get a little bit of breeze. So I'm just going to pop those in there with my sticks and make lots of noise. Perfect. Next up, now this is just a small tabletop ornament. Perfect for on the table where you're serving your candy to the kids, but it also makes a great little addition to a planter. So he's going to nestle right in here. Nothing too fancy there, and you can be as tough as you want with these things. After that, my little spooky pumpkin. Again, we're going with that same theme. Again, this is just a small tabletop ornament for inside the house, but it works perfectly well inside the planter. I've just left a nice space for it here. There we go. And that's pretty good. This is another option as well. I thought could have made a good switch here, but I've gone with the white so that it stands out more from the planter. Now, of course, if you have the time and the motivation, you can certainly also use carved pumpkins inside the planter. Small gourds like this can be carved if you've got a little bit of patience, but small or mid-sized pumpkins can also make a great addition to a planter. That said, you don't want to use a lit candle in anything that you have that may be flammable inside the planter. So LED or battery operated lights inside that carved pumpkin make a perfect finishing touch for a planter that will truly light up the night and catch the attention of your trick-or-treaters. Finally, we would be remiss if we didn't talk about the elements inside the garden themselves. Now, I'm surrounded in, again, pumpkins and potato vine, all that great seasonal interest, but at this time, our fall mums are starting to kind of get tired. So once our flowers begin to fade, it's the time to look to foliage to really add interest to the garden that's going to last all the way through even hard frosts into the snowfall. So over here we've got our classic purple fountain grass that looks great no matter what happens in the season. Even once it loses its purple color and fades to a nice sort of bronze, it looks fabulous even once the snow falls. Finally, we've also got cabbage and kale available. Cabbage and kale are wonderful additions to any fall garden. They keep getting deeper and deeper in color, looking fabulous as it gets colder and colder through the season. Everything I've used here for our front door decor is available at a TERRA location near you. And to find out more about TERRA, you can visit www.terragreenhouses.com. Stay with us for more great seasonal entertaining ideas as Amii joins us next with indoor houseplants. And later on in the show, we're going to warm up a little bit with something fantastic from Chef Rachel in the TERRA at Home kitchen. Stay with us.
Come and explore the new TERRA, where color lives.
When we first bought the house, the lawn was nothing but brown. So I called my father-in-law. He's really good with the lawn. He knows exactly what to do.
Well, I told him you're Scott's turf builder. He said, well, I got this other stuff, and I told him take it back to the store. But some brands have filler like sand and gravel, stuff you don't want on your lawn. Scott's turf builder is pure food. Every granule's 100% nutrition. You get what you pay for every time. You see what happens, Tim, when you listen to your father-in-law?
All food, no filler. That's the Scott's advantage.
Welcome back to TERRA at Home, where we're now joined in the kitchen with Amii Dominatto from TERRA. Thank you so much for being with us, Amii.
Thanks for having me.
It's always a pleasure to have you here because you always bring a wonderful selection of beautiful plants.
Yes.
We're in the time of year now where we're starting to spend more time indoors. We're starting to move back inside the house, and with us come more plants. And it's a great time to start thinking about the quality of your air indoors because we're closing things up, turning on furnace, although I hate
know,
to say
don't
it.
say it.
But it's a great time to sort of freshen up the home, and you've brought with you today some plants that offer some great benefits.
Yes, that's a really big thing right now. People are looking to be healthier, live a much more healthy, active lifestyle, and air cleaning plants has become something that's on everybody's radar right now.
So I think it's kind of general knowledge that plants help to clean the air.
Yes.
And they provide oxygen, but some are more powerful than others.
Yes, absolutely. All plants clean the air through their breathing, just like us. When they breathe, they clean the air. But yeah, there are some favorites. There are ones that do a little bit better job than others, and some that actually work during the day and some that work at night. So
fantastic. All right, so let's start looking through the selection we have here. You've brought with you the plants that are most known to clean the best.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes, absolutely. There are lists out there that kind of rank each plant from, you know, the strongest air cleaner to the least strong. So I brought some of the stronger ones here. Everybody likes palms in their house. That's the big thing. And palms actually are one of the better air cleaners.
Which is great. They're big and dramatic.
Exactly. I brought one of the smaller ones here, the date palm. That one there is really good at cleaning the air. It's one of the top ranked plants out there.
Fantastic.
Ferns, another one that if you look at any list, you're always going to find a fern, a Boston fern, a Kimberly queen fern. All ferns clean the air really well.
That's good.
Peace lily is another one, and a quite popular one because it's tolerant of lower light.
Which is
people
good.
really like them.
Peace lily is one of my favorite plants as well because it's easy to care for.
Yes.
And I'm kind of seeing a common theme here. I mean, the plants so far even, although they're, you know, big, dramatic, interesting, they're not that difficult to care for, this category of plant here.
No, exactly, which is nice because it allows us to actually have, you know, a dense plant inventory in our houses and not make it too much work.
Which is great.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on then, we've got another one of my favorites. This is pothos, right?
Yes, absolutely a great air cleaner and probably one of the easiest plants to take care of.
Which is great.
And Dracaena down here, this little guy, there's several different types of Dracaena. All of them are good air cleaners. I chose that one there just for the nice color that it brings into your house. But yeah, any of the Dracaena.
Dracaena is a huge family too, so from that little teeny guy up front to the big Dracaena palm type plants, and then there's other types as well, everywhere in between that scale. So no matter what kind you find, you've got air cleaning benefits, but you'll find one that can kind of suit your tastes and suit your house.
Yes, exactly, and very easy to care for, so they're not one of the ones that'll take too much time and effort.
Who's this one here?
This one's a rubber tree, kind of an old faithful one. It comes in a dark leaf, and this one too. But again, really easy to care for, big broad leaves, great corner plant. Like that. And I've got an ivy just sitting at the front there. Ivy's a great air cleaner and a popular one for people. People do like that one.
Gerbera daisy right here. That's a bit of a surprising one to see, I think. I did not know that Gerbera daisy was on that list.
Gerbera daisy and actually the indoor pot mums are, I would say, in the top 15.
Really?
For air cleaning plants. So it's nice because people are always looking for something with flower or color. And that is one that you bring it in, pop a color, but it's also going to clean your air.
Speaking of flower and color, our next two over here are, I understand, nighttime powerhouses.
Yes, exactly.
That's cool. So we've got some really exotic flair here with an orchid and then the bromeliad out front. And these clean the air at nighttime?
Yes, they do. Yeah, there's a few different plants that do the air cleaning at night, and these are a couple of them. So it's great to have a good balance between the day and the night cleaners in your house.
Absolutely. So we've got a whole plethora of different types of plants available. How do you choose the ones that are right for you? When you're looking at houseplants, how do you shop for houseplants? I think some people get really sort of stuck with the whole thing, and fear of killing them can be a tough thing to get over. So how do we begin? Maybe if someone's never chosen houseplants before or taken care of houseplants before, how would you start?
The biggest thing is I would identify where you want it in your house.
Okay.
Some light levels are higher, you know, less light, etc. So choose where you want to have that plant in your house, identify the light conditions, and then go to your local garden center and find out what plants actually suit that light condition.
Okay.
Some are harder to take care of than others, so if you are a first-time houseplant, you know, person, then maybe identify that and let, you know, the expert know that this is your first time and that you would like something to be, you know, less, just easier to take
difficult.
It. Yes, exactly. Because some are, like a fern might be a little bit more temperamental than, say, a peace lily.
Okay.
But again, you know.
So identifying the right light condition is maybe the best and the most important consideration.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, beyond that, I think another main concern for many is water, of course, and knowing when and how much to water. That can be kind of difficult. So again, some plants are more forgiving than others, yes?
Yes, absolutely. This little piece of leaf right here will wilt right down to the pot, and you can perk it right back up.
Pothos, I know, is a really forgiving plant as well.
Yes.
Pothos I had all through my college years.
Yes,
and
it's a great one.
It's a big one.
Yeah.
Speaking of college, this is the time of year now. Everyone's back at school. They've had a bit of time to sort of get things sorted out. The schedules are solidified.
Yes.
So maybe for students who are living away from home for the first time, dormitories can be sort of a harsh environment. It can be kind of tough to personalize. Plants can be a great way to do that too.
Absolutely, yeah. And they're available in all different sizes. So for any size of a dorm room or apartment, they're great.
Fantastic. Okay, so other general care tips then. We know that these ones are great for cleaning the air, so any of these would be a great addition to your home. Aside from light and aside from water, what are the other considerations we need to bear in mind when we're bringing plants into the house?
If we're bringing them into the house from indoors, like if you've bought them from a garden center, it's light, water, and fertilizer are your big things. So you can be using a fertilizer when they're indoor. Mild fertilizer, so an indoor houseplant fertilizer is perfect. Some of your specialty things like an orchid may have its own fertilizer that would be better to use, but just a general fertilizer and water and some sunlight.
Not so bad.
No.
Placement of plants, of course, is another big thing. You said that choose where you want to put it first as far as light conditions go.
Yes.
Is there kind of a minimum requirement? Should we have at least X amount of hours of light in a spot in order to even consider it for a plant?
Yes, plants need light, so a room with no windows, no natural light is not going to
do.
It's not going to do. That's a common question. A lot of people will ask that. I would say a minimum of 4 hours of at least indirect sunlight for any plant is going to be necessary.
So it doesn't necessarily need to come streaming into the window and beat down on the plant itself?
A lot of these plants actually don't like the bright direct sunlight. They like indirect. So a nice naturally lit room is perfect.
So for anyone looking to shop for houseplants, of course, they can visit any one of our TERRA locations and speak to the greenhouse gang.
Year-round, yes.
All right, fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us, Amy, and enlightening us as to which of these plants are great to clean the air. It's a great thing. Join us after the break for more tips from TERRA at Home in the Kitchen with Chef Rachel.
Come and explore the new TERRA, where color lives.
When we first bought the house, the lawn was nothing but brown. So I called my father-in-law. You know, he's really good with the lawn. He knows exactly what to do.
Well, I told him you're Scott's turf builder. He said, well, I got this other stuff, and I told him take it back to the store. But some brands have filler like sand and gravel, stuff you don't want on your lawn. Scott's turf builder is pure food. Every granule's 100% nutrition. You get what you pay for every time. You see what happens, Tim, when you listen to your father-in-law?
All food, no filler. That's the Scott's advantage.
Welcome back to TERRA at Home, where we're ready to warm things up in the kitchen with Chef Rachel Johnstone. Thanks for being with us, Rachel.
Thanks, Kris, as always.
We've got a nice grouping of ingredients here, and I can't wait to heat things up a little bit in this kitchen. What are we making today?
Today we're doing a Thai green curry chicken.
Sounds great.
Okay. So first of all, we're going to serve it with some jasmine rice.
Lovely.
So the curry chicken actually doesn't take too long to make. So I'm going to get the rice going first. I have 2 cups of water coming to a boil here.
Yep.
And then a cup of rice. So we're just going to pour it in here, give it a little stir, add some salt to there, about a teaspoon. And we'll just stir this up, and then we can put the lid on it. You want to cook this covered. I'll turn the heat down to low as it goes. And that should take about 15 minutes or so.
Perfect.
Then when it's ready, we can let it sit for about 5 minutes, fluff it up, and by that time we should have everything else ready.
Sounds great.
So let me just turn this down to low here, so we can leave that alone.
All right, so green curry, Thai green curry, that's exciting, and chicken is our main ingredient,
Right.
and how do we begin?
Yeah, so we have some green curry paste. You can just buy at the store in the Asian section. Okay, so a little bit of oil in the pan, and we'll start by cooking the paste a bit. Now, I think with when you're doing Thai curries, right? You can do chicken or beef. You could do shrimp.
Yep.
And then the things that you add in, it's really up to you. Today I'm going to use some carrots that I've just sliced into little rounds. I'm going to put some snow peas and some bok choy in at the end.
Sounds great.
But a nice mixture of vegetables is good. This is just what I've decided to do.
I love making curries and stir fries in the fall and winter. It's a great way to get the veggies in, and it's a good comfort meal where you've got some nice heat flavors in there, as well as lots of fresh veg, and it's a great go-to meal for during the week.
Yeah, so smell that cooking already. All right, now we're going to put the carrots in. All right, nice and fragrant. Okay, I'm just going to turn it down a little bit because there's a lot of oil in there. Put the carrots in there and get those cooking.
Great.
Just to soften them up a bit. Now we have the chicken here. I'm just using chicken breasts.
Okay.
And I've cut them into, chunks or cubes, however it suits best. You just want them into fairly bite-sized pieces. So at this point, we can add those in there, and you want to make sure that they're cooked all the way through. So just put all of these in here, and then we can, build the sauce on top of this.
Definitely. Now that it's heated somewhat and it's working with the oil, that curry paste is becoming really fragrant and really lovely. Something I love about working with curry paste as well is that you can change it up. So you can follow the exact same recipe with different types of curry pastes, whether it's red or yellow, and get different results, different flavors by following the same steps.
Right. With the different curry paste, you have, different levels of heat.
Yes, true.
You can add some peppers in here. These are Thai peppers, Thai chilies, so you can cut those up. Now these are really hot. I think these are fairly close to habaneros. So if you're using a Thai chili, I would say maybe a quarter of this, right? Unless you like it really hot. But those are very hot, so you do have to be careful when you're working with chilies. I believe this green curry paste that we're working with is fairly spicy, so maybe in this case we'll leave them out. So once the chicken starts to cook a bit, we'll just get that browning on the first side there. We can add in a little bit of fish sauce.
Okay.
So this is about half a teaspoon of fish sauce. It's recommended that, if you're following a recipe, you use a little less than it says.
Okay.
When you're working with the fish sauce, just because, it's very salty, so that acts as the salt in this case, and it's got a very strong flavor. So you just want to make sure that you're doing it to your own taste.
That's it. And once you get to do Thai cooking on a bit more of a regular basis, you get to know your taste for fish sauce, and you can use it as you would salt or pepper and vary the amount depending on how you like it.
Right. I always use a little less. I find it very strong, so I always use a little less than normal. Okay, so this is browning really nicely. Now at this point we can add in the coconut milk. Okay. So we have about a cup of that. I'm just going to turn all of these pieces around just to make sure that we're getting everything here.
Great.
Coconut milk, and we have a little bit of stock as well.
I love the addition of coconut milk to Thai dishes, especially. Of course, it's sort of signature, and you get that lovely mixture of heat and sweet. It's a good juxtaposition that really is sort of signature to Thai cooking.
Right. So I'm just going to add a little bit first just to make sure that everything's coated, and then we can put the rest in. Also, that's looking very good already. All right, so yeah, Thai curries are a little different from your traditional, say, Indian curry. With the coconut milk, it makes it a little more soup-like, right? You have a little more of a liquid in there. So that's what you're going for. That's what you're looking for. We'll put the rest of this in, and our broth. And then what we want to do is just simmer this for maybe 5, 7, 8 minutes. until it reduces a little bit.
Right.
Until your chicken's cooked all the way through. And so it's, you know, not very long at all. It's a nice dish to make on the, you know, on a weeknight. You know, if the kids are doing their after school thing and you don't really have a lot of time.
Yeah.
This is a perfect dish. So you just
Yeah,
want
it's nice and quick.
Great. So we'll just simmer that, you know, medium-high heat. Make sure the chicken's cooked all the way through. And then at the very end, close to the end, I'm going to add in some snow peas, and then we have some bok choy. So in this case, I've just got some baby bok choy. You can get a big one for this dish. I didn't think I needed that much, so I just got a little guy and sliced it up. That can go in at the end too, because you don't want it to be too wilted. You want it to be nice and fresh. So that's the finishing touch, and then the rice will be ready and we can serve it on top of that.
Sounds great. We'll let that simmer. When we're almost finished the cooking process, the greens will go in, and when we come back, we'll see it all put together. Stay with us on TERRA at Home.
Come and explore the new TERRA, where color lives.
Come join our colorful team at TERRA, where color lives.
Welcome back to TERRA at Home, where Chef Rachel is putting the finishing touches on our Thai green curry. Rachel, it's simmered down nicely and we're just about ready to add that bok choy.
I put in the snow peas a couple minutes towards the end of cooking, just to let them cook down a bit. Save the bok choy till last, so we'll just put that in now. Mix it up a little bit so it starts to wilt a little bit. And then it's just about ready to serve.
And we know our leafy greens are so good for us, so it's nice to get them in whenever you can, and they're such an easy ingredient to add into any stir fry, but especially a curry.
That's right.
Great.
Okay, now for the rice. It cooks for about 15 minutes, so I'll just take the lid off there. And it's nice and fluffy. Just kind of give it a little fluff up with a fork, and
ready to serve. Great.
So we'll start with a little bit of rice on the bottom of each bowl. Very nice.
And I think rice is sort of a must-have with a Thai curry because it is so moist in consistency. It's nice to have that starchy base in there to sort of mop up all that saucy goodness.
That's exactly right. Okay. So we'll just serve this right on top.
Oh, it looks great, and it smells amazing. Oops. Of course, at home you can find this and all of Chef Rachel's recipes available at terragreenhouses.com. And I have a feeling that this one will become a favorite weekday staple in many households. It's perfect, warm, comfort food for a quick and easy meal to go. Oh, that looks so good, Rachel.
There you go. At this point, you could also garnish it off with some fresh cilantro if you'd like.
Sounds
great.
great.
Nice little touch.
Join us next week for more great tips and tricks from TERRA at Home.
Come and explore the new TERRA, where color lives.